Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to open up the open workshop. It's April 26th, it is 6:15 p.m. I'll take a roll call. Trustee Boucher.
Here.
Trustee Desmond.
Here.
Trustee Godesky-Rodriguez.
Here.
Trustee Maggio. Here. Trustee Munoz.
Here.
Trustee Scafane.
Here.
Trustee Villado is absent. Vice President Gonzalez.
Here.
And President Casado.
Like three.
Okay, just some points of information. We are presenting, we had sent to the Policy Committee. We received some updates from Strauss, which will be introduced at the June 12th board meeting. So the June meeting is being changed to June 12th. Most of these are mandated.
Won't be here.
And I will send a complete copy home with everyone. Also, for members of the board that can participate, superintendent evaluation is going to start. President Casillas is the chairperson. Trustee Boucher, Trustee Gonzalez, Trustee Munoz.
Abstain.
And Trustee Godesky-Rodriguez will serve on the committee.
He's good.
In lieu of our May meeting, we are doing, I don't know exactly what we're going to call it yet, but we're going to recognize all the student achievements, winners, championships, etc. On that date, we have been collating information from the month. We are up to 92 different categories of winners and championships, and I'll have further information once Rob and Liz and I get going with that. The only other thing is obviously our agenda. There's only one minor change since what you received. It's A11. There's a virtual visit with Carl Wilkins for our students. And on B19 is a submission to the safety grant application. I am moving resolution C5 and C6. That's coaches and community ed. I'm moving that to non-consent because there's a conflict, but it'll still be signed by Trustee Godesky-Rodriguez and seconded by Trustee Boucher. Okay, so that's all I have for this evening.
Which were the two you're moving to
C5 and C6. It's coaches and community ed.
What's the conflict?
There's a little note on your agenda with that. With that, Superintendent, do you have anything for us?
No, I think
No?
we're ready to move to our Jonathan.
Trustee Casillas, I'm sorry, President Casillas, anything for? Okay, so I will adjourn the open workshop. The board has to go into a closed session, so I'm going to ask the public to please go to the auditorium. And we will start our meeting at 7 o'clock in the auditorium. It is 6:19. The open workshop is adjourned.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is a public meeting of the Bayonne Board of Education. It is 7 p.m., 26th day of April. We're convening in the Alex O'Connor Auditorium. Presiding officer is Jody Casillas, President of the Bayonne Board of Education. Those in attendance include Mr. John J. Neese, our Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Kenneth Kopad, our Assistant Superintendent of Personnel, Ms. Jennifer Vecchiarelli, our Assistant Superintendent for Special Services, Assistant Superintendent for Special Services, Dr. Gary Mayer, Board Secretary, Mr. Daniel Castles, our School Business Administrator, Mr. Thomas Pagoo, our Assistant Business Administrator, Dr. Dennis Degnan, our Assistant Superintendent for Waco, Dr. Lucia Ragland Brown, our Chief Academic Officer, and Mr. Bobby DeMarco, our Board of Counsel. The meeting is open to the public. I will take a roll call. Trustee Boucher.
Here.
Trustee Desmond.
Here.
Trustee Godesky-Rodriguez.
Here.
Trustee Maggio.
Here.
Trustee Munoz.
Here.
Trustee Stefani. Trustee Milano. Vice President Gonzalez.
Here.
And President Casal.
Here. For the record, adequate written advance notice of at least 48 hours giving the time, date, and location of this meeting was provided as follows. Notice was prominently posted in City Hall at 630 Avenue C on the bulletin board reserved for such announcements of the Board of Education. The board secretary sent such notice to the community.
Oh, I'm sorry, I pressed
New
that.
Jersey
Jersey General.
Notice was filed with the municipal clerk of the city of Bayonne, Ms. Madeline Medina.
President, 2 months in a row. Hold on. Okay, our approval of minutes, do I have a motion
I move.
and a second?
I'll second.
On that motion and second, trustee Boucher,
Yes.
trustee Desmond,
Yes.
trustee Gazesky Rodriguez,
Yes.
trustee Maggio,
Yes.
trustee Munoz.
Yes.
Trustee Stefani,
Yes.
trustee Milano.
Yes.
Vice President Gonzalez,
Yes.
and President Casal.
Yes.
Next up is our curriculum and instruction. It is resolutions A1 up into including A11. Do I have a motion
I'll motion.
and a second?
I'll second.
On that motion and second, trustee Boucher,
Yes.
trustee Desmond,
Yes.
trustee Gazesky Rodriguez,
Yes.
trustee Maggio,
Yes.
trustee Munoz,
Yes.
trustee Stefani,
Yes.
trustee Milano,
Yes.
Vice President Gonzalez,
Yes.
and President Casal.
Yes.
Next up is our finance, resolutions B1 up until including B19, but we do have a question in regards to resolution B8. Secretary, no? Question, vending machines on cafeteria? Yeah, that would be resolution B8, which is the sale of our existing machines.
I have a question about who owns the vending machines that are in the cafeterias at Bayonne High School. New vending machines were recently installed, and the price of water went from a cost of $1 a bottle to $2.25 a bottle, with a 10-cent penalty if you pay with a credit card. There was no apparent change in the number of fluid ounces in the bottle. From what I understand, chips went up from 70 cents to $1.85, but I can't compare sizes of chips. So my question is this: if I can buy a 24-pack of Poland Spring water on sale at the supermarket for approximately $4, why are students being charged $2.25 a bottle for a bottle of water? Given the number of students we have on free and reduced lunch, I think that this increase in pricing is out of line and should be addressed. So my other question is the cafeteria being run as a for-profit entity?
I'll answer that question. So the first is, we do not own the vending machines, however, the district does see a profit from them outside third-party companies. And second of all, the cafeteria is called an enterprise fund, and by state law, it has to run as a profit fund. So it's separate from the operating budget, enterprise fund, so it does need to run as a real profit entity.
So you have no control over what the prices are in the vending machines, and therefore, students are at the mercy of whoever the vendor is with the machines.
That's not the case at all. You can certainly request to lower those prices. The vending machines, as you know, were just installed, so I can certainly reach out to the vending companies and say the prices are too high. Obviously, we see a percentage of that profit, so they would be willing to drop the prices, but we'd be willing to drop.
I just thought that was a very huge increase.
So we have our finance and building and grounds, resolutions B1 up until including B19. Do I have a motion? Motion by Vice President Gonzalez and a second by President Casales. On that motion and second, trustee Boucher,
Yes.
trustee Desmond,
Yes.
trustee Gazesky Rodriguez,
Yes.
trustee Maggio,
Yes.
trustee Munoz,
Yes.
trustee Stefani,
Yes.
trustee Milano,
Yes.
Vice President Gonzalez,
Yes.
President Casales. Good,
Louder?
good, thank you. Okay, so we are up to personnel. Resolution C1 up to including C52. Just like to note that resolution C5, coaches, and C6, community ed, are being moved to non-consent. I do have one question on the resolution before I'll take a vote. Once again, Dr. Reservoir has a question on C51, which is our field trip resolution.
Yeah, I've been meaning to come to a meeting for quite some time to ask this question, but haven't managed to get here. I wanted to know whether or not the current Board of Education has a formal written policy as to what types of field trips are acceptable and when those field trips can be taken. And if so, is that information available to the public? I ask this because earlier in my tenure as a teacher, it was clearly understood that field trips had to be educational in nature and generally could not be taken before state testing was completed. This year at the high school, there have been several fundraising field trips allowing students to complete holiday shopping or go to view a recently released blockbuster film. While I understand the desire to help find ways to help seniors defray the costs that they incur senior year because of prom, etc., these field trips are coming at a cost to academic integrity as far as I'm concerned. I don't understand why these types of field trips are happening during the school day and why they can't occur after school or on a weekend if they're fundraising trips. I personally have no issue with an English or history class going to see a movie release that relates to their curriculum, or a business class going to the mall for a marketing lesson. But I do have a problem with basically encouraging our students to play hooky during the school week. And I would like to know if there's any kind of formal policy and when this type of field trip started to be able to be approved.
Doc, I'll email that policy over to you in the morning. I'll have the principal back around the meeting with you about your concerns.
Okay, thank you.
So we have let's see, I'll take a motion
I'll move.
on personnel, trustee Gadesky Rodriguez, and a second,
I second.
and a second by trustee Boucher. So we have a motion and a second. On that motion and second, trustee Boucher,
Yes.
trustee Desmond,
Yes.
trustee Gadesky Rodriguez,
Yes.
trustee Maggio,
Yes.
trustee Munoz,
Yes.
trustee Spain, trustee Bellata,
Yes.
vice president Gonzalez,
Yes.
and president Casada.
Yes.
Move now to resolution C5. Whereas the need for coaches in Bayonne School District, and this is a list of coaches for the 23-24 school year. Resolution C5 is on our bulletin board. Do I have a motion
I'll move.
and a second?
I second.
On that motion and second, trustee Boucher,
Yes.
trustee Desmond,
Yes.
trustee Gadesky Rodriguez,
Yes.
trustee Maggio,
Abstain?
trustee Munoz,
Yes.
trustee Spain,
Yes.
trustee Bellata,
Yes.
vice president Gonzalez,
Yes.
president Casada.
Yes.
Next is resolution C6, which is our community education policy. Once again, on our bulletin board, do I have a motion?
I'll move.
From Gadesky Rodriguez, and a second
I second.
from trustee Boucher. On that motion and second, trustee Boucher,
Yes.
trustee Desmond,
Yes.
trustee Gadesky Rodriguez,
Yes.
trustee Maggio,
Abstain?
trustee Munoz,
Yes.
trustee Spain,
Yes.
trustee Bellata,
Yes.
vice president Gonzalez,
Yes.
president Casillas.
Yes.
We have one additional question. Once again, Dr. Reservoir has a question on our health insurance changes.
So I understand that the Board of Education moved providers and approved the move of providers from the state to Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield. And my question is this: if the Board of Education is allowed to change health insurance providers mid-year in order to save money, why aren't staff members being afforded the same opportunity? At a recent meeting with representatives from Verizon, we were told that we have to wait until October during the open enrollment period in order to change plans, which would take effect January 1st. Although you don't seem to have to do that, you can change in midstream. And my concern with that is this. Based on a handout we were given, there was a huge change in the potential out-of-pocket maximum expense incurred with New Jersey Direct 15. And so I, as a teacher, looked into what the costs were in October and made a decision as to what I needed. But now, with this new information and these new premiums, I might be making a different decision. And I don't understand why members are not being afforded that opportunity. If I find that it's better for me to switch to New Jersey Direct 10 or back to New Jersey Direct 10 or New Jersey Direct 15, rather than staying in the equivalent of the state employees' health benefits plan, why am I not able to do that while you are?
So I can answer that question. The state plan provider is Verizon Blue Cross Blue Shield, and what we're doing now is just eliminating the state portion of it and going directly through Verizon. So the Direct 15 and Direct 10 plans are the exact same plans you have with the state plan, and even through the same provider, which is Verizon.
I have to go check the two documents, but I think that out-of-pocket maximum expenses were significantly different in the two pieces of paper that we were given in October versus the one that we were provided earlier in April by, the representatives from Verizon.
You can certainly reach out to me anytime if you feel that's the case. There's also a clause in the contract that all benefits have to be equal to or better than. And we met with the union leadership to ensure that that was the case, especially since it's the exact same provider.
And I understand that. So if it's better than, why am I not afforded the opportunity to do better than? If you can change in midstream, why can't we?
So there's several different layers to that question. One being that Verizon, the company, has the open enrollment policy. That's not a district policy. And that's for the open enrollment period. The district can request a change at any time as long as they go through certain steps. It's also through an open enrollment period. So it's similar, ours period is just a little bit longer.
Excuse me. I have two follow-up questions. The effective date for the change that administration made is when?
6/1.
I'd like to see exactly what staff has been provided in terms of the summary of what the changes are.
Absolutely.
Right. To date, the only information we received was through our union organizing something. It was not organized through the Board of Education, to the best of my knowledge. You could correct me if that's wrong.
No, well, I reached out to Dan
We basically work together on this to make sure that all benefits are equal to or better than, and that no member would be affected. So that's where it came from. We kind of work as a team.
Because at that meeting, it was also unclear, seemed to be some controversy about the vision portion of the healthcare plan, and it just seemed to be a misrepresentation. So I'm concerned that if this is taking effect June 1st, is everything straightened out?
I'll do one better. If you would like to come down and sit down with me tomorrow, we can go over any kind of concerns that you have.
Okay.
Excuse me one more time. I am not accustomed to being here, hearing things from staff back. I don't think I missed any opportunity for a presentation of the changes that are being made. Usually trustees in the past have been made aware of that stuff. Maybe it's only confined to the Finance Committee, which I am not on this time, but I think it's appropriate for something that large to have been shared with everyone. Sorry.
New speaker. So I think what Dr. Esitar was saying was, obviously, I think you would have said that since the switchover is happening from the district,
I don't know, would that constitute, because I just thought about this, would that constitute a change of life? Because when you have a child or you get married, your health care, you switch it. Would this be considered change of, since the district is swapping?
It's a good question. I don't believe so, but I can tell you.
Okay, yeah, I just thought of that right now, because again, this is, I think, what, the third time our healthcare has been switched since I've been here, I think, right? So, I just thought of that, but that wasn't my intent to bring that up, but I just, Dr. Weston had me think of that. I just wanted to share two good things, obviously, that are coming out from the Bayonne Education Association. Last weekend, there was a cleanup in the city for Earth Day. We invited the community down there to clean up. Members of our organization, our members of color group, went out, helped clean up Bayonne, and then we gave away kits to all the people in town, all the kids in town, growing kits to grow herbs and grow gardens at home, and try to educate people about trees and being good to the earth and taking care of our community. And then next month, which is a week and a half away, we're buddying up, pairing up with the city and Buddy Baseball, and we're going to be doing some great programming for them, standing out there rallying for those who are part of Buddy Baseball, and some great giveaways for them as well. Just wanted to share.
May I say something about the health insurance? I work in Jersey City, and it happened exactly the same way it was happening here when we were negotiating. I have NJ Direct 15 and NJ Direct 10. Nothing had changed regarding, for me, nothing had changed regarding coverages. I go to any doctor I want, out of pocket network. The only thing, the visual, is we have BSP. We then have told them regarding that. I don't know nothing about the vision plan, ma'am, but if you talk about the health insurance to NJ Direct, correct, Mr. Castle? You go to NJ Direct, correct? That, I guarantee you, is pretty much the same what you have now. The vision part, it had to be something that you can speak to me regarding, or if you talk about healthcare wise and coverage, it's pretty much the same. And I can testify we have, for the 4th year right now in Jersey City, we have the same insurance plan.
Don't forget the budget presentation. Oh, the budget presentation.
Sure.
We have to do it. Yes. Yeah, you have, I mean, it's voted on. Mr. Castles, would you be able to, quick presentation?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. So hello, everyone. For those who don't know me, I'm Dan Castles. I'm the VA here, Business Administrator for the Bayonne Board of Education. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out tonight, and we're going to take a look at the 23-24 school year budget. Before we jump into the nuts and bolts of this presentation, I'd like to thank a couple people, including the Board of Education, the Finance Committee, Superintendent Neese, Central Office, and the Business Office for all of their hard work compiling and putting together this budget, and also for all their feedback. So we will start with the revenues. The total budget, the total operating budget for the 23-24 school year is $190 million. Of that, $73 million will come from the local tax levy, $109 million will come from state aid, $376,000 will come from federal sources, and $7 million will come from something known as budgeted fund balance. And what budgeted fund balance is the funds left over from the 21-22 school year. So as you can see in this chart, we're more dependent on state aid now more than ever. 57% of our revenues come from state aid, while 39% come from the local tax levy. This is mainly due to Senate Bill 2 and the change in the way the state distributed state aid. That law is sunsetting, so we're going to have to start to live within this budget. And any additional revenues, if the board decides to increase them, will have to come from the local level. If we look at a 10-year tax comparison, over the last 10 years, our total tax levy has increased by $14 million. That's a little over 2% per year. In the same time period, our state aid has increased by $55 million. So this has caused that slight imbalance in where we depend on our revenue streams. Again, this is due to Senate Bill 2. Now we'll go into our operating expenses. A majority of our expenses are allocated to salaries and benefits, with $116 million being for salaries and $30 million for benefits. It's always been my belief that this is where you want your funds to go to. People teach people, I always say that, and our best resources are our teachers, teachers' aides, etc. And that's where the funds should be allocated. Another thing of note is we have $7 million in supplies and $10 million in purchase property services. $4 million of that is for the district portion of ROD, or regular operating district grants, which will provide facility upgrades throughout the district, including boilers and roofs and much necessary facility upgrades. If you look at this as a percentage, 77% of our total budget goes to salaries and benefits. And again, while this seems like a large percentage, I think that that is our most precious resource, and that's a good allocation of resources to put it into the people that do the most work. With a smaller percentage broken out by each smaller. Again, I'd like to thank everybody who had all this hard work to put this budget together. This is truly takes a team and not an individual. And if there are any questions, I'd be glad to.
President, ask a question. Mr. Castles? Yes. Would you be able to share with the public and the public board members about the fair share adequacy, why the 2% is necessary for future funding?
Sure. So how funding works is through three basic principles. There's the local fair share, and that's a formula that the state came up with what the local taxpayer should pay into the school. The other is called uncapped state aid, and that makes up your adequacy budget, the total amount that you need to educate the kids in your district. So our local fair share number right now is $105,998,187, or about $32 million more than what our local tax levy is. Now, there's laws that say that you can only increase your tax levy by 2%, which make it difficult to catch up to that number, and it also is unreasonable to think that the taxpayer can take on that kind of burden. But as I always say, that it's important to have some skin in the game to see those increases in state aid numbers that we've been seeing, and that we can continue to see if our enrollment keeps growing.
Thank you.
Before we adjourn, Madam President, today is, I think, Administrative Assistant Day.
Yeah.
So, on behalf of the board, maybe we can congratulate all our secretaries for the hard work that they do and their loyalty to the students and to the parents. So on behalf of the board, I'd just like to thank all of our secretaries in the district that go above and beyond every day for us. Thank you.
Motion.
Second. I'll second.
So I have a motion and a second to adjourn public meeting. Trustee Check, Trustee Desmond,
Yes.
Trustee Gadesky Rodriguez,
Yes.
Trustee Maggio,
Yes.
Trustee Rubio. Yes. Trustee